What's up, guys? Back with another banger, and quick disclaimer, on the screen right now you can see my current limited, and I really mean limited, coaching prices. On the right you can see the regular prices, and for the first 3 people the bundle discounted limited coaching for the first 3 people who DM me on my Discord. By the way, guys, this is my website I'm working on. I'm about to fuck this game up. Anyways, guys, enjoy the video. I will see you in the next one. Alright, guys, so here we got it. Actually, the video I've been really excited about because this is something different. We always talk about patterns and all of this shit. I got something way better. Let me make my camera a bit smaller. Alrighty, guys, starting with the tier list. Long awaited. Actually, no one waited for this. I just wanted to do it. This is the tier list, guys, on the jungle tier list, improvement tier list, my takes. We got the goated tier, like this is S+, basically, just goated because I'm cool. And must do tier, we got the good, we got the nice, like this is like B and C tier, I guess. Good to know, this is like not a tier at all, this is just good to know. Then we got the don't do, we got Coach Rogue, and we got Kira. Okay, we have, first of all, let me explain what all of this is. Some things I won't explain. You have to watch the video to see it. Some stuff I will explain. This basically means sleep. This means playing at night. This means your refresh rate. Actually, fuck this shit. Actually, just watch the video. I'm not even gonna make timestamps. Just watch the entire video, man. It's really nice. And I just want to get more views. First of all, starting off, I will just start like wherever I want, to be honest. Actually, let me just start with what gives me the most clicks. Okay, there's actually something that's gonna give me a lot of clicks, but let me just start with meditation, man. Meditation. And why did I choose to put meditation in the tier list for jungle improvement, right? And my takes on it. Well, meditation is sort of like, if you can't meditate, and I'm sorry, my mic is sort of loud. If you cannot meditate, you cannot do a lot of stuff on this tier list and actually in life. But let's just talk about League and stick to it. If you cannot meditate, you won't be able to do reviews, you won't be able to stick to routines, a lot of stuff we're gonna talk about. You won't be able to focus on what is in the present moment. So I don't wanna be fucking, what is this guy called? Sadhguru, this fucking FBI planted dude who's just brainwashing. No, but if you can't sit in your room, no lights, no music, literally just like a normal human being, sit in your room, darkness, close your eyes and just meditate. And actually meditate, don't visualize, meditate. Let thoughts come, let thoughts pass, just focus on breathing. If you can't do that for 5 minutes, and if you're like under the age of 18, if you can do that, you're so ahead in life. If you're like beyond 18, you should be able to do this. And actually, if you can't, you should start doing it. I'm gonna be honest. I think the skill is literally goated, because this literally tells me if you are capable of doing something that has 0 dopamine, but the most reward in the least time. And this translates into a lot of stuff we are going to talk about. Overall though, even if it wasn't for that, this just gives you focus and focusing on what is important at that moment, okay? This is a very big skill. I didn't think this would be goated, but I'm gonna be quite honest, like this is actually goated. If you can't do it, like you're fucked, honestly. Even in life in general. Next thing, yeah, this is actually quite important, guys. +3 games. This is what I'm talking about here, is +3 games a day or in a block. I think Coach Curtis started talking about this, and when I was still low elo back low elo back then in the day, we will also talk about this. When I was low elo back in the day, I used to spam games like a degenerate, had school, skipped school, did all-nighters just to play League. Worst decision of my life. Don't do it. If you do this, and by the way, I'm doing a 30-day challenge right now. Join my Discord to see the rules. I will have it up for like 2 days for anyone to like join. You can actually win coaching at the end, and everyone can. It's basically a routine where you should just only play 3 games a day. For most people, you can actually tweak it quite a bit. 3 games a day is so important. Why is it important? Because 90% of you fuckers cannot even meditate, and then you're telling me you can play more than 3 games a day? Even if you can meditate, focusing for 3 games, 1.5 hours most likely with queue and all of that, 3 games is more than enough, and it's actually a must-do in my opinion. I don't think it's goated, because this can be exchanged to more or less games, depends on your schedule and all of that. Just watch my last video, actually the one before that, where I talked about the routine. This is goated, but it's more like a must-do, because this can vary, right? Overall, must-do, I would like to put it in goated, but this is key. Limit your games, be conscious, and actually combine these two. This is like a steroid, okay, if you combine them. So, what else are we gonna talk about? I actually want to talk about this. I think this is very important. What is this? Pen and paper. If you have never seen it before because you're all on your fucking tablets or whatever. Actually, this is Gen Z, right? Yeah, you guys actually know this still. You're not the fucking Zoomer generation. I hope so. If you are, I'm not a pedophile. Pen and paper. Pen and paper is huge. I don't care what you do. If you actually do VOD reviews and all of that, and I think if you do meditation, you do your 3 games a day, or actually this is 3 games, you can like just literally open one of those brain rotting, or not brain rotting, but they are like just a waste of time. Those, do you know those productivity apps like Evernote or Obsidian or what is the OneNote is like very popular, and the one brain rotting one, which is like AI, what is it called? Please tell me what it's called. There's a very popular AI note-taking app, which is way too complicated. I didn't even get it, so I just uninstalled it. Pen and paper. Let's stick to the topic. I'm like always yapping way too much. It's so huge. Do you know Eminem? Eminem is the best freestyler. You can debate me on that, whatever. He's like the GOAT for a reason, like the most telling one. Let's just stick with that. I know there's better ones maybe. He remembered every page of his book on his 60-minute podcast. He had a full shoe box of notes, literally thousands of notes. He remembered every scribble, every line, every rhyme. Rap god. Because he used pen and paper. What is the point though? We are not rappers, right? At least I'm gonna be a rapper when I release my diss track on Kire. But my point is this: pen and paper. There is just something magical. I can't talk. There is just something magical about writing something down. And to have proof, I literally have a fucking paper over here, where I wrote down stuff from a past video. You literally perform so much better. You remember the notes you're taking. And do you know what? It even matters if you use a lot of intensity on the paper and not, because your brain remembers that way more because you used effort for this. It sounds hocus pocus. That's what it is. Pen and paper is not a must-do, but I mean, honestly, it's goated. Because it's way better than on your fucking tablet or whatever, or your PC taking notes. So it's kind of goated, but that's kind of too much. I would say it's good. It's really fucking good. If you have pen and paper, use it please for your notes. And it's also not as dopaminergic, and you can't get distracted on your desktop, right? So this is actually really fucking good. Next thing. What are we going to talk about? I think this is quite, and I know I mentioned Eminem. This is not about Eminem. This is about name tags, okay? This is a little bit of an Easter egg. This is not so important, but it's kind of good to know. LS talked about this once, and I always subconsciously knew this, okay? If in League of Legends you have name tags off, you actually can focus on so much more stuff because you don't see those tags. And I know this is like hocus pocus, but this is about your subconscious brain. This is about your hemisphere on the brain, your moon, not your, this is like your lunar, not your solar. If you know about psychology, you know what I'm talking about. This is about what you don't know about, but what influences you. If you don't see name tags, I don't know, this is like a kind of a reach, but still a kind of nice fact, and it's very true actually. Just look up the research. If you don't have name tags on, your brain can process what is important, right? And it makes sense, right? If you don't have, like, why do you want to see your mid laner who has fucking Adolf 88 in his name, or fucking his boy or some cringe shit like that, okay? And it will get you tilted. I mean, at least for me it does, if I see that cringe shit in my team. So it's good to know. Turn off name tags. Anyways, only good to know. So what else are we gonna start with? I'm gonna go straight with the banger here, okay? I'm gonna straight with, see, I have my phone on, literally had to look because it blinked. Fuck that shit. I actually need my phone because I have a very important appointment with someone I'm coaching long term, so I need to see. But anyways, let's talk about this. Fasting. This is fasting, okay? I talked about this in my 30-day challenge video, like 2 videos back. I talked about how important fasting is, or at least not eating like a fucking American slob. I know, like, it's not bad in Europe. Stop saying NA is fat. Europe is just as fat, to be honest. Eating fasted is huge. Like fasting, not eating fasted. What am I saying? Being in a fasted state. Well, let me just explain this, because a lot of people don't understand when I say this. If you eat, your body has to use resources, blood, to digest, which means there is less blood here. Where else do we see this phenomenon? If you see a hot chick, man, you can't think, your blood is somewhere else, man. Okay? So kind of makes sense. So if you eat, and especially high carbohydrates, if you eat junk food, especially, this is the devil, you won't be able to review, you won't be able to think, you won't have energy, because that shit drains you, and most of the stuff nowadays, especially the processed stuff, but even grains, pasta, grain would actually be good food. Grains, pasta, all of the shit like you see in that fucking pyramid, right? That they taught you in school is also fucking bullshit. Just eat protein, eat eggs raw, not the egg white, it's kind of protective, it actually destroys the purpose. But if you don't want to go overboard, if you go into your free block session, right? So I should actually connect all of this. This isn't like jungle fundamentals. You have to view them like kind of connected to make use of them. But just to make it simple, just this alone, don't fucking eat a bunch of shit, at least a bunch of stupid shit. Really, best case, wake up in the morning, play your free games. If you are not the type of person who performs in the mornings, do it later on, where you have not eaten 3 hours before and afterwards, and do that, okay, fasted, so you can actually access your brain. There's a reason why chess players are never fat. They use their brain so much, your brain actually consumes a lot of carbohydrates. The problem is, if you consume too many before an mental activity, you don't have the brain power or the blood and all of the shit. I don't know how it works there, like exactly, but that's how it works. You can look it up if you're a nerd. You can't use your brain if it has to digest. So really try to eat at least not junk food before your sessions, okay? This is all I'm gonna say about this. Next thing, courses. This is actually, yeah, courses are literally over here. This is like minus tier. Not because courses are inherently bad, and guys, this is just a joke, whatever, get over it. Courses are really about, well, like, what is a course? What I think about as a course is basically some YouTuber makes some very brain rot, educational, call it mainstream content, which is kind of gatekeeping knowledge. And I always thought a lot of these coaches just use the YouTube videos, gatekeeping knowledge, and then drawing the people in who are like curious about more, and so they get passive income, but they also get knowledge. I'm not gonna name any names, but I have coached over, in my entire life on League, over thousands of people, but I've done it way before I was even high elo. I just did it for fun for my friends. But now having like paid coachings, I did over 500 at least in such a short time. I have seen every course because so many people just ask my opinion on them. I have watched a lot of courses. I've watched every single course and pretty much everything in every course that is out there. I have not seen a single good course that is worth paying money for, because most information is wrong. And you don't believe me when I say this. And I didn't want to believe in myself. And I'm not saying this to say, hey, I'm so great. I don't even got a course. I'm just saying how it is. I'm very unbiased with this. I always mention people I trash that they are doing something good in some videos. Like I'm always like very honest, and I want to be honest. I have no incentive to trash anyone, but these courses sadly have so much wrong information where I don't even want to believe what I'm thinking, but I just come to the same conclusion. There are so many challenger players who just don't put in the effort, or they just suck at teaching. I hope it's the second point, but that is just as bad, because you're still paying money for something that seems professional. The edits might be nice, the structure of the course might be promising, and that's what you would expect. But how can an Emerald player judge a course by a challenger? He can't, he doesn't know, right? So just in my opinion, I have been a low challenger. Maybe I'm not as good as Kiri, but let me just tell you, courses, yeah, they're not good, man. I can't put them anywhere else here, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. And I'm gonna drop my course, but when I drop it, it will be in 1 year, because I've been working on that shit like every day. I've got like 100 hours now. I need to edit all of that. I need another 900 hours, because then only my course is gonna be comprehensive and actually matters, because you have to connect so much shit in the course. You can't view it separately. Okay, not gonna waste any more time. Next stuff, gym. I'm gonna be honest, gym is a scam. Lifting man-made metal. Shout out to my man Goldmine right here. He actually is very right with a lot of stuff. If you don't know him, check on. By the way, check the description. Will leave a lot of links for a lot of these topics in case you are wondering. I obviously can't leave a link to anyone's course, because that is fraud, and I would get sued most likely by this guy. No, I'm just kidding. But gym is like, actually doesn't matter. Have you ever seen someone who is like, and I'm saying this because I've heard it from dancers and these people sometimes, or at least that's what it seems like what they're conveying, or a lot of people in general, gym makes you better in life. I agree if you need it. Go 2 to 3 times a week if you really do it for the exercise. In terms of league, it means nothing. I should say good to know. And I'm gonna be quite honest. If I go to the gym and I come back, and I actually went to the gym and drained, I don't really feel like playing League. I feel like sleeping because I'm destroyed. So gym is good to know. I think it's sort of a scam that people say it improves your life in every circumstance. It doesn't. But I would still say it really is goated in a way, because if you do meditation, if you do gym, you actually don't have time to play more than 3 games a day, which you should do at least at the beginning of your journey to actually improving, not just yada yada yada, watch a couple of YouTube videos and now improve. No, actually improving with the reviews. We will talk about it. This actually uses time in your day, so you can't be a degenerate. So I actually think only in that circumstance it's goated. Otherwise, I think it's nice. That's where I would place it. Most likely just good to know. I wouldn't say don't do it, that's bullshit. But let's just leave it somewhere over here. Next thing I'm gonna talk about, and I'm just gonna... We will leave those for a little bit. Let me talk about this. This is nicotine. This is basically what I'm using in every video. You see me using this. This is basically a performance enhancer. I will leave down a link to my second channel where I specifically talked about this, how I use this to actually improve in League. And this is when I actually hit Challenger. I did a bunch of other stuff, although I used this specifically. All of this stuff right here are enhancers. I should have actually placed caffeine here. Let's just talk about caffeine really quick. Caffeine, just like nicotine, same category, to be honest. You have to use it, caffeine, you have to use caffeine in a cycle, okay? This is not roids, this is not steroids, this is not drugs. This is like caffeine. I mean, I guess it is a drug, it's a stimulant, right? You have to cycle it. If you've been using caffeine for a very long time, stop right now. I don't give a shit. It's really bad. Your adrenal glands are fucked up. Okay, you stop with caffeine for at least 3 months. If you've never used it, or if you have stopped for 8 weeks, 12 weeks, roughly that time estimate, you can slowly start again by doing a 1 week cycle. Then you up in the second week. You start with double the dose, so 1 cup in the first week, 2 cups in the second. Then you stop for 2 weeks, actually 3 weeks, and then you can start again with the same cycle. So use it as a tool, not as a drug, okay? That's all I'm gonna say. Same with this. I'm actually addicted, so I'm not the best guy to talk about this, because I'm gonna be honest, I would be way better off if I also cycled this. The thing is, caffeine and even hardcore drugs are way easier to quit, at least in my experience, than this shit. So maybe don't even start with it, but if you have, use it. Best case, like caffeine cycling. What I do is I use very little of this actually. I use this for my videos. I used to use it for every league game. Like one for every game. There's like 20 in a bottle, right? Or whatever the fuck you got in a can. Way too much. That's way too much stimulation. Just use it on, let's say you have a routine. You do 3 games a day. Use it for one session, one of these. And then you use it for your review day, a second one, okay? This is the best way to use it, and then you should maybe cycle off, because all of those stimulants, you build up a tolerance, and that's not necessarily bad. You might not feel it anymore, but the problem is it becomes your baseline. And when it becomes your baseline, you can only be neutral with fucking stimulants and eventually crash. That's what happens, so really be careful with this stuff. I'm not giving advice, I'm only saying how it is. If you have been using, you better do what I tell you. If you don't use it, caffeine and nicotine, I think nicotine you shouldn't start using. It's way too addictive. Caffeine is way easier to quit. For caffeine overall, I think everyone can use it, but use it very methodically. I will leave down a link in the description by an insanely smart dude who talks about this caffeine cycle specifically, so check it out. So yeah, moving ahead. We are going to talk, daily routine. I'm not gonna like spend too much time, just watch my past 2 videos. Like there's some video where I called it like the routine to challenger. Just watch this is goated as fuck. And I talk like briefly about this anyways. So let's talk about, okay, so we got 2 drugs here. This is Adderall and this is cocaine. I will leave cocaine for the end, okay? Adderall, because it is a stimulant, and I thought, why not just talk about the differences? Because I have used everything I've listed here. Adderall or Ritalin, whatever you respond to the best, don't fucking use it if you can't. I'm not gonna give any advice on how to get it or whatever. I don't use it, right? Adderall, if you really abuse it, at least fucking cycle it. Problem is, way too addictive. You most likely can't because you're weak-minded. And it's not weak-mindedness, it's just the devil in itself. So most people get seduced by the devil. If you do use it, and I'm just going to talk about my experience. Adderall, I hate to say it, but it's literally goated. I used this, and I didn't even have to follow a routine. That's what I'm saying. These things are goated. When I used this and this, I didn't need all of this. I didn't care. I could use name tags. I could, gym didn't matter. You have energy like a fucking racehorse, okay? And the fucking focus. So this is goated. I will leave it down here so no one ends up screenshotting it at the end and saying, actually, fuck those people. It's goated. It is what it is. It's goated. But the thing is, I actually don't do it. Actually don't, because you will get an addiction that is crazy. You will crash and burn. It's actually not worth. I would say this is way better in caffeine than this, because it actually only has a bad ending at the end, and you might get a heart attack if you're like genetically weak or whatever, or predisposed. I'm not gonna say weak. I'm sorry. Refresh rate. Let's just get this out of the way. I don't know why I even put this here. This is like no special. I'm gonna be honest. If you have been playing on 60 Hz forever, and you only have like a bad PC anyway, so you don't get more than 60 FPS, this is really, don't do it. Don't even buy one. You won't notice it. If you have ever played on something that is higher than 60 Hertz monitor, if you switch back to 60 FPS, man, you're fucked. I'm fucked, so this is goated if you have been addicted to this. If you have never like experienced it, I mean, if you got the money, just get it, honestly. I think it has a benefit, obviously. You have more refresh rate. Beyond 144 Hertz though, it is not worth it. I've seen it. It doesn't matter. And it's just expensive as shit. So this is the most bang for your buck. Actually, nowadays quite cheap. So get this if you want to. And if you have been used to it, you can't quit anyways. Like, this is the worst drug, actually. DoQ. Let's just talk about DoQ. DoQ is literally Coach Rogue here. I've seen literally videos on strategies on how to use DoQ to climb. Like, this is just one of those quick fix things. Like, you might fix your ELO for like 1 day or 1 week and you might peak. Do you improve? This is the thing about DoQ. You actually get worse. You might develop strategies around your DoQ. You might start pathing to your DoQ as a jungler, especially playing around a lane where it's Yeah, that's what I mean. I think I'm gonna cut this out, but I use 2 of these nicotine things. They are so fucking strong. Holy shit. Whew. Oh, Jesus, don't do this. Don't do this shit. Do you will develop bad habits. That's all I'm gonna say. That pretty much sums it up. There is no benefit to it. Your focus is disrupted because you're most likely in Discord. You're gonna develop bad habits and you might get tilted because your Duke is just another fucking Emerald player. I'm just gonna leave it like that. If I would play Duke, it would only be with a high challenger. Because then it makes sense, right? Like Natty, Net, and Pro in Korea. That makes sense for a quick win rate boost, but they're a challenger anyways. They would need it to reach challenger, right? So Duke, you literally don't do it, honestly, Coach Rogue. Next things first, let's talk about music. I see lots of people, and actually streamers who like abuse music. One thing you will see, the best players that you're watching are not listening to music. Only your dopaminergic brain rot content creators, which are only there for content, not for in performance, they are thinking this is goated. This is not music. Music is, there is someone who said music should be banned. Some very smart dude from back then, not Elon Musk, like actually smart, like the smartest people ever. I think was it Plato? No, there was no music back then. Music should be banned because it actually energetically affects you. Believe it or not, consciously or very likely, and actually this affect. That's a fact, subconsciously it affects you. If it's not Beethoven, don't listen to music while you play. What is the point of music while playing? Why do you listen to hardstyle? Do you really think listening to your drill rap is gonna make you play better or more aggressive and stupid? I'm just gonna leave it up to you, but I'm gonna rate it like over here. Don't fucking do it. Cut out the music. Get your life together. You don't need dopamine perma. Do it after. Do it when you walk to the gym, and then it makes sense because you want to be aggressive, right? But in League, you need focus. Do you see any chess player with earbuds in when they're in the championship? No. Why do you think that? League is like chess. Next thing, chat. Don't do it. And actually, no. Actually, you must do it. I don't care what people say. If you're too fragile to play a game, and this is where this fixes it and this fixes it, all of these things are kind of connected, the must-dos and the goated things. If you meditate and you play 3 games a day and you have a daily routine and your day is full of other stuff, I maybe should put a girlfriend down here because most people need it to get their life together. You should actually do chat. Why? You need to see pings, bro. And I'm gonna be honest, even like typing in chat can be a huge thing if you actually use the chat correctly. Don't use it to flame, but just get your mental together. Like, I know it's easier said than done, but you literally fix your mental with the stuff we've talked about. And then you can actually use chat and not be like a baby and say, I don't want to hear what my teammates say. I'm gonna cry in chat and play worse. Bro, I know why, and I'm not blaming anyone. I am the same, but only if I'm like unbalanced and I don't do this shit, okay? Or I have not done it. So yeah, chat must do. You should use it. Why not? Like people say, people want voice comms, but then they start muting everyone in chat. What the fuck do you want? So next things. Teach yourself. This is goated as fuck. There's a big thing though, and this is specifically for reviewing, okay? Because obviously that is teaching yourself, and we have a section on teaching, on watching content for teaching. This is for yourself, reviews. In general though, this is kind of a building block for your reviews. Why is teaching yourself goated, and why is it also don't do it at the same time? There are 2 people. The first sort of person is silver, and they don't know how to teach themselves, and they come up with the wrong conclusions. And this is where coaching comes into play. Anyways though, besides the coaching part, teaching yourself, I'm gonna be honest, if you are not doing all of this stuff and you maybe also have a coach on the side, or not just insanely much coaching, just on the side to review your stuff. Again guys, join my Discord 30-day challenge. I literally give people free reviews for the people who complete the challenge and do the challenge every 7 days. So join my Discord and ask me for that, and just DM me and you are in the competition. Teaching yourself is so hard if you are not challenger. Yeah, I know it sucks, right? It's kind of like you want to get advice from a billionaire to get rich and not from yourself. You don't want to mistakes you could just prevent by learning it from someone who has done them or knows about them. Since this is not about coaching, again, this should be combined with coaching, then this actually can work out if you have a good coach who tells you how you teach yourself. This is another big fucking skill, big skill. The biggest thing about my coaching is you not only get better, you actually get the tools to improve, because I really believe in this stuff. How did I teach myself and why was it good for me? Because I sat down, literally looked at my replays, looked at fucking some days 5 hours for one game, figured out every pattern. No one of you is gonna do this. Like statistically, maybe one person is gonna do it and this person will quit. I taught myself, this is why I see through all the bullshit, or like when there is bullshit, and I just call it out like it is, because I have been there myself, I've coached myself, never learned anything from anyone. I got coaching, realized that shit was bullshit, those people didn't really help me. I like subconsciously knew this is not helping, I can help myself better. So teaching yourself is either fucking F tier or goated tier. If you are not obsessed, paired with a coach, then it is go tier. So I would just now place it here. Overall, it is go tier though. If you pair it with a coach. Coaching, I didn't put this in for me. Overall, this is kind of a symbol for coaches who are not mainstream. And we have to be very careful because this right here is for those small coaches on Reddit who are gold and claiming challenger. And this is right here for those mainstream coaches. So this is small coaches who are good. This is me, of course. Then we got the small fucking idiotic coaches, and then we got those coaches who are mainstream. You know who I'm talking about. If you know them, that's them. So basically, good niche coaches, this thing, and I'm not even talking about myself, I could be trash and just frauding all of you and telling you wrong stuff and you just believe it because I'm so charismatic, right? No. So this right here, if you find one of those, this is goated, and I should put this way above. This is cozy tier. That's besides the point. I will just put this out of the list because I'm not gonna suck my own dick here. Reddit coaches, don't go on Reddit for coaches. There is a 1% chance you actually get a coach who knows what he's talking about. You might as well just teach yourself because then you also learn something. This is a skill that builds forever. So just, this is F tier most of the time. And mainstream coaches, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not gonna name names, but it depends what you consider mainstream. I have done a tier list on coaches, and let me just phrase it like this. If you have seen my tier list, it is not a very the amount of coaches who I said were bad is like in the 99%. So this is basically, and I'm saying this because this is a money thing. If they would coach you for free, it's better than nothing, obviously. But they charge so much, those mainstream coaches, and with the stuff I've seen, especially in the courses, it's not gonna get better in the coachings. And I have so many people who come to me, paid thousands of dollars, didn't improve, and I'm like, what the fuck? And you improve from one coaching with me? Yeah, mainstream coaches nowadays, don't do it. Somewhere over here, I don't even care, these things are all the same. So yeah, sleep. Well, I got a quick story. I mentioned it before in one of my videos. Pentalist, Mr. Rank 1, talked about how bad sleep is and how you should need it and just blast caffeine non-stop. We can already see how the caffeine part I don't agree with, right? We've talked about it. Sleep. If you need an alarm clock or you deliberately don't sleep and you just wake up even though you're tired, your life is fucked up. You have no routine, you are lazy, you're like a little child. You cannot even call yourself a female or male. You are in the stages of a child. You should sleep. And I'm gonna mention something because a lot of people are gonna like say, oh, wait. No, if you don't sleep, and I'm not talking about 9 to 5, but in general, if you don't sleep and you wake up when you are ready to wake up, you're either fucked up with your hormones, you might be fucked up with your body, you might eat before sleep a bunch of carbohydrates, and that explains why you can't sleep because you have to digest, same principle, or you are living a unplanned, your life is just a mess. Because you can tell me that you can't get your sleep in. And I'm not talking about 8 hours. I'm talking about what you need. Most people need 7. On some days, like on the Saturdays, sleep 9, sleep 10 hours. Monday to Friday, just sleep 7 hours. Like do whatever you feel like. If you need 5, and you literally wake up without an alarm clock, do 5. Just do as much as you need. And I'm gonna be honest, it's not even like I'm telling people to go to sleep at like 8 p.m. Go whenever you want. Truthfully, when you need it, when you want it, when you literally feel like this is the best time to sleep. And I'm not just being a lazy dude just scrolling on the internet until it's like 5 a.m. Okay? Be structured with your day, then the sleep should be natural and you should not really need an alarm clock. I know if you're working a job, obviously you want to make sure that is fine. Sleep is fucking goated. I'm gonna put it like right here, honestly. Because if this is fucked up, none of this shit works. Not even stimulants. You can like work it out with Adderall, but even then you're gonna like crash and burn. So sleep is literally the first thing. This is like priority, honestly. I'm not saying you have to be perfect with this, but don't fuck it up. So right here, let's talk about goals. Goals are literally F tier. Goals don't mean anything. It is your systems. I should have another picture for systems. Goals don't mean shit. You should focus a system that will achieve your goal. But if you are diamond and you want to be masters, if you're emerald and you want to be challenger, I don't care. You should not view the goal as your goal. The goal shouldn't be your system. Your system should be your goal. So what do I mean by that? Basically, your goal should be to be on point with this stuff. With your games, with your reviews, with the other stuff we will talk about, what you should and shouldn't do. Your goal should be to make a routine, to play, to think about the game, to review your games, so you actually come closer to your goal. But a goal is not a system. So many people think a goal is to weigh. No, the goal is just a destination. You need the fucking blueprint and it's not your goal. So goal is good to know, but it shouldn't be more than that, okay? And to be honest, this should be just a tier where I say forget the goal and just focus on process. Still good to have a goal. You might even manifest it. I don't know how good you are mentally. It's actually very possible if you do this stuff, because this just affects your mindset, it affects your actions, your thoughts, and therefore your actions and your entire life, therefore. So this is good to know, but don't treat a goal as the destination. Treat it as a destination, but not the system, right? This is just a pinpoint on the... If you want to go from fucking Europe to NA, well, the goal is NA, right? But the plane doesn't think about NA, right? It's not retarded. The pilot in the plane thinks, okay, this is the altitude, and now I gotta steer here. The goal doesn't matter. It's just 1%. So don't think about your goals too much. So yeah. This right here, let me talk about YouTube content. Educational content on YouTube is, first of all, you gotta teach yourself so you can dissect what is bullshit and what isn't. So most likely I would literally put it in here. I would still say though, if you are capable of using your brain in a way so you can dissect what is good and what isn't, and what is kind of like take it with a grain of salt, what people are teaching and preaching as this is the best. Even in my videos, don't take everything with a grain of salt. Actually think, why does it make sense? Why shouldn't it? And if you come to one of those conclusions, you stick with it. This is bullshit, this is nice. Or maybe you just don't understand it, so don't use it. Okay? Those fundamental videos, educational videos, treat them as good to know, treat them as nice, but so many people treat this like they treat fucking reviewing games. No, this is not goated, this is not a must do, this is not even good, this is not even nice, this is good to know, view it if you want. For most people, this is entertainment disguised as improvement, okay? This is just like one of those videos where people tell you how to make money, and at the end of the day, you haven't made a single cent from those videos because they don't teach it. So, moving ahead, I actually wanted to use this for this. I'm just gonna use soft drinks here. I'm gonna be honest, this is very nice for people who want to do fasting, like eating wise, not like liquid wise. I actually don't advocate for not drinking stuff. I actually just advocate for eating. I think not drinking is has a different purpose and it's very like not maintainable for a lot of people and they're not even ready for it. But just talking about this, you can actually like use stuff like Cola Zero, Coke Zero and all of that stuff. we can talk about if it's long-term bad or not. I mean, fucking Trump drinks 20 a day and he's like fucking 80, so I guess you can use it unless he's drinking baby blood. Then that's a different topic, why he's still alive. Anyways, Coke Zero. Yeah, use the stuff that doesn't like kind of cloud your brain and actually has some caffeine. I guess kind of cycling, don't overdo it, but this is like nice. You can, I don't think this is bad if you use it in moderation in order to get your fasting done more easily. So let's talk about some more stuff. Let's just talk about night. This is basically playing at night. Don't do it. I don't know a single person who plays at night, is focused, and is not spamming games. This is bad. This is contradictory to all of this. Basically this, because as humans, I don't know a single person who genuinely performs the best when they are fucked up sleep schedule wise. There are certain types, like some people are performing better later in the day, but it's 5 a.m. That's not late in the day, that's just fucked up, okay? So don't do it. Don't spam games at night. Don't play at night. Try to do it in the day, like a human. And yeah, I don't think there's a single person who's performing best at night unless you're fucked up in a good way. This right here is patterns. This is Da Vinci. This right here is goated as fuck. And this is like a combination of reviewing your games. Patterns is basically, and this is for jungling, but you can even see it in lanes and like kind of transfer that skill. But in jungling, this is so goated. And this is literally only here because to open up your perspective. I might make a video on the most common patterns, but let me just give you an example in jungling. So I reviewed like a motherfucker every one of my games. And then when you do that, you recognize patterns. Or if you actually know what to look for, so look for patterns. What is a pattern? A pattern is basically you ward every game the enemy raptors. Then you figure out when is it dangerous, when is it not. If your teammates move with you, it's not. If your teammates don't move with you, and they have an enemy pike, it is dangerous. If your teammates don't help you with the ward on the raptors, but they have a Malza mid and a fucking Shyvana jungle, and you're nithery with, I don't fucking know, something like that, it is not dangerous, and you should do it. So, do you see how you kind of can dissect every single bit and connect all of the information? So much information that you gather, where you might think it's useless, you can actually connect with a larger brick of fundamentals, right? So patterns, look for patterns. Another pattern. You use the ward and therefore now you see the enemy Kayn starting on his raptors. Now you recognize, okay, if I full clear and base, I can literally contest him on the camp time of 4 minutes. 3 fundamentals connected to a pattern, and there is so many more. This is why my course will be thousands of hours, because this is not just to create a bunch of volume and content. This is because there is so much stuff just with patterns. I could make a year worth of content that is literally replicatable, and you have to view once, remember, and then you're good to go in every game state. This is why my course will take so long. I think I'm never gonna be able to coach after my course is released, because no one's gonna need coaching, because I'm gonna talk about every important pattern, and once you know about them, they connect to each other. And I will even explain like the basic building blocks. So yeah, patterns goated as fuck if you can't teach yourself. If you can't, try to look for them at the very least and replicate them as much as you can, and know why they work in the game state and why they don't in a different. This is important. Patterns are situational, but they are still very similar in certain situations. So it is a fucked up thing. It is so big. It's the entire game, honestly, in jungling, besides mechanics. But yeah, this is goated as fuck. I hope you understand what I mean, because I was yapping quite a lot. So next thing, I mean, I talked about this. I'm just gonna put myself in goated. Fuck it. Reviews. Reviews are basically the best way to improve. I think this is kind of unnecessary because we have talked about it, and it's really in, I should put it like this, but honestly, you know what I mean. Reviews can be goated, they can be bad if you don't know how to review. I will still say though, teaching yourself, actually let's put it on goated, or let's do it on must to actually develop the skill. You should do it to develop the skill. This is way better actually, this makes way more sense. Reviewing in connection with teaching yourself, and like best case on steroids with a coach. This is the Trinity, this is the Holy Trinity, this is the Father, Son and Holy Ghost. Reviewing your games is basically, I would say, best way to improve, and even for beginners, if they are smart enough and they develop these skills. That makes sense, yeah. This is the only way to really improve independently and actually build your own view on the game. The view on the game should be very much the same. So you should try to like reach out to coaches or like to maybe very good content creators, take it with a grain of salt though, and use that in connection with your reviews to kind of get feedback, right? I think this is really something you have to do like together. Otherwise, there is so much stuff that can go wrong with reviews. I still say though, everyone can learn something from a review. You won't get most of it out of it though if you have no idea. So reviews, be like me and like review for 1 year straight, like thousands of hours, then you will become good. Or if you want to speed up the process, spend like $200 and you save so much time and you actually don't get frustrated. This is the next thing. Building blocks. This is fundamentals basically. And I'm talking not about jungle tracking. If it was that, like most people do on YouTube, this would be in the fucking worst tier ever. This is like in fucking Narnia over here. So building, what I'm talking about here is figuring out what the game is about. If you haven't seen my video, it is one of my best videos, not because it was the best in terms of editing and like structuring wise, but really the point of my best video was gold and EXP. Once you realize what the game is really about and you really build every pattern on top of this, okay, because that is what it's about, okay, then therefore every pattern is a consequence of this being guaranteed, good for you, obviously. In terms of golden XP, if you understand what the game is about in terms of golden XP, which is basically what it is, there is nothing more to it, you just dissect, okay, golden XP, so I know just count the camps. So now there's a situation in my game, a pattern, where the enemy jungle can take crops, but I can take his bot and dive the bot lane. Boom, golden XP and a pattern. You can really see, I'm teaching this the same way I'm doing it with League, because it's the only logical way. Everything is logical in League. Don't lose your hope. If you actually teach yourself or you get a coach like me, you can actually learn the game and understand it, and then you become so good and you don't even have to think about it with repetition, and you just stomp games. And you actually understand why you lose games. Some games you lose because your team is so trash. This only happens in Challenger, but or Grandmaster or Master, and sometimes in low elo, like 1 out of 100 games. But this is really, really, really important to even understand games or game states where you would like kind of blame yourself for not winning, but you actually understand, well, it was the best play. It was results based bad, but it was the best play in the situation. So this is huge. So let's talk about this. This is reviewing. I've talked about this. I'm not going to put this in here. This is basically learning from other players just mechanically. This is huge. Pick out the best players mechanically and really, really analyze. This is a must do, not goated, but a must do in terms of, this is maybe not a trinity. This is like a fucking quadruple stack. So this is mechanically pure for pure. From replays, not educational stuff like fundamentals. This is purely, you just look at unedited fucking challenger game from some random in Korea on your champion, and you really note down, okay, Viego versus Diana. How did he win this fight and why did he win it? What is Viego's champ identity? Viego against Diana, you should hit your W. It's a spell, you should not miss it. You should hit your Q. You should use your E. You should not have it on cooldown. You should know if she has R. If she does, do you have R? And then you figure out, okay, so what should you do against Diana? In order to hit your W, how do you not hit it? Well, basically, you don't want to use its full range, then she just uses QE and it might become awkward. You want to walk melee range, use your Q first, it's very easy to hit even if she uses W, then you hit her mid-air. Then you have your passive stack, so you attack her, she attacks you. When she uses Q in melee range, then you use your W, because then you have a small time window where you can use your W easily to hit her, because she will jump on you in a fraction of a second, and you hit it for sure if you're in front of her. And then you hit her again, she hits you, she uses spells, and right before she becomes low and she has R, you use your R preemptively to dodge her CC on the R and kill her and execute her, right? If you're ahead as fuck, this might not matter, but it's important to understand this stuff, mechanics, and I just broke it down for you. You do it on every champ, you figure out the identities, you figure out the spells, you figure how to interact, and then you figure out how in a normal game state against a good player who's not bronze, how it should play out and what you should think about preemptively. And maybe you don't have R and it's not possible then, right? So you should think about lead and stuff, but really mechanics purely, this is a must do. And this is actually great. You can just watch like good players and really just look if they fuck up mechanically, why, right? And why that's the case and how it does not happen to you. This is the next thing, Twitch streamers. This is like good to know. A lot of Twitch streamers are content creators for a reason. They're not making coaching stuff. They might explain, and in their title there might be educational, but how can you interact with chat, listen to music, be funny, perform at the same time, and teach? Not like, I think I could do it, but if I was being funny and all of this and interacting with chat, I can't, like, not to my capacity, right? So this is good to know. Not the greatest investment of time in my opinion, so I guess it's nice. It's really like YouTube. So next thing, cocaine. Let's just talk about cocaine. I've done it. I've been there. I'm still there. No, I'm not. Actually did my interview with the Sheku guy on a little bit of a line. Kappa. No, I'm just kidding, obviously. This is stimulant. This is like, this is actually like the worst tier ever. This shit gets you hyped for a party and you're the funniest dude ever, and you pull like so many chicks. Most chicks I ever pulled was on this stuff. Successfully, I was like best version ever. But this stuff right here, it is not really addictive because it's really party stuff, at least for me, and I'll use it like once a year at most, honestly, if I would ever use it, because I'm a better person now, but I used to do it. It's really, I used it for League once, worst time ever. I was hyped on Draven, running it down, and I thought I was being good. No, this stuff way better, this style, everything is way better than this. Use it for party, don't use it at all, honestly. So I'm not even gonna put it in here, just don't. This is the next thing, modafinil. This is crazy. You get it in Singapore for like $5. It's like you don't even need a recipe. So depending on which country you're in, this might be illegal. When I was in Singapore, I tried it, and man, bro, you don't have to sleep. Like, it's not crazy. It's like, not a lot of people know how it works. The studies have been cancelled because there was no incentive for the pharma industry, because it was like not really, there was no incentive to use it like for profit, so they stopped on it. I will say though, you will get a skin rash on it, and then you're fucked, because that's a deadly disease that happens to 1 out of a million people on this stuff, and then you're fucked and you might die. Okay, so don't even use it. This stuff is used for fighter pilots in the military, like a lot of other stuff they use over there. Keeps you awake, keeps you focused, and actually the tolerance builds up so quick it's not even worth. It is really way much better than this stuff if you don't have like a severe reaction and you have a recipe, right? And yeah, but I would say don't do it. But, you mostly don't get it anyways, or you don't know how to. Visualization. This is actually a very funny one. You wouldn't think this is what I'm meaning by that, right? Like this picture, this is visualizing. There has been a study, and I will put this in goated for a reason. There is this very famous study, actually. Look it up if you want. You should search it, be able to search it immediately and find it. Visualization is basically, they put two groups, random groups of 10 people, I think, on each side. Group A was playing basketball every day for 10 minutes. Group B was like visualizing throwing free throws. Both people did, like both groups did free throws. First group did it. Second group literally sat down and imagined it. So you can see how insane meditation is with this, okay? And you can like pair this with this and then thinking about mechanics and stuff. And why am I saying this? I'm saying this because this skill in itself, there's no reason to do it if you can just be hands-on and play a game. But if your mind is actually just using 15 minutes for 10 fights, you can see how much more work you can get done by using your brain and putting yourself in a sandbox scenario of what you want to learn in terms of mechanics, like most importantly, maybe even patterns, right? if you have ever seen a chess movie like the Queen's Gambit or what it is, these people literally visualize it. In chess, this is very common. And if League is like chess, and we can agree on that, if you are really a nerd, you can really like this, improves your life anyways. And if you do this, you can pair it with this. Very esoteric, but it makes sense, and it's literally proven. Like, you can learn stuff by visualizing. And what's the problem with one game? You have 3 skirmishes which are completely random against completely random champs, and you don't remember them. If you visualize and then you write it down at the end, mechanically, like, this is fast and efficient with your time. This is not even a time waste. This is the most efficient way, honestly. Do I do it? No, I'm way too lazy. I got so much stuff to do right now, and I don't even focus on like solo queue anymore. But if I used to do this, and I'm not kidding, this was most likely also a big part of why I hit Challenger at some point. So yeah, guys, we talked about these things. This doesn't matter. This don't. Honestly, don't do any drugs. If you do them though, use them consciously and methodically. This is the tier list, guys. I think no one is ever gonna replicate a tier list like this, but I couldn't think of more stuff. I think this is basically all there is to a tier list I could ever do. Again, guys, what is the best way to improve? Review your games, do meditation, do a daily routine. I think this is nice. Sleep, all of this, blogs, use pen and paper, like all of this stuff is really on steroids with coaching. And I'm not saying it for me, just pick any coach you want, or you feel like you're in good hands with, not just because he's popular, but because you actually think and you realize, okay, he actually knows what he's talking about, and he actually talks about stuff I can replicate after the coaching, so I don't have to keep spending money on him. Just do all of the above. That is kind of a must do, and you should do for your life, even. Pair it with coaching, well, whoever you want, I don't give a shit. And then you should be on a good track to improve. Especially the stuff over here, guys. This stuff is really goated. This stuff is more so meme, and don't do it. So yeah, guys, this was my tier list. No one's ever gonna replicate this, but this is the only tier list that makes sense in my opinion, unless I forgot something. And very comprehensive. We went from drugs to visualization. How fucking big can the spectrum be, right? Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Coaching Discord down below. Last 3 people who can join for my long-term coaching. I got my website also very soon done, so make sure to check it out as soon as I got it. Most likely my next video. I will see you in the next one, guys. Bye bye. And maybe I'm gonna do some TikToks soon. Yeah, I might do some TikToks. So if you see a cringe cozy on TikTok, that's me. Alright, guys, see you in the next one.